Warning may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer description is advised. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played a glitchy or hacked game before. Bullshit. Though, I don't think I want to play any other after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore towns in it. Bullshit. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. Only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside, I looked at the note and I realized it was from my dear friend Kill. Let's just call him that, whom I haven't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognize his handwriting, though what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read. I think Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what Tom wrote. I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me. If we don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him. But do it quick or otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's just what he wants. Destroy it. Please. From Kill. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend, I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. I did do what he asked me. I didn't think a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyways, I looked at the disc. It looks like some ordinary computer CDR's disc, except it had a black marker on it. Written sonic.exe, which must unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that it must have been gotten it from somewhere else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play, so I'm a big Sonic fan. I went to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc and installed the game. When the title popped up, I noticed it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome. Because I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start, there was a split second where I saw the title image turn to something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying, but cutting to black. I remember the image looked like a split second before the game cut into black. The sky had darkened. The title element was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666, and the water turned red like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic. But the freakiest thing was, in that split-second frame, Sonic, his eye was pitch black and bleeding, with 2 glowing red dots staring right at me, and his mouth stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about the image when I saw it, so I figured it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so. Then, another weird thing happened. The save file select from the Sonic Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? What is this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyways, then I noticed something off. The background was dark, cloudy, sky, a bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there was only 3 save files. The music was that of the creepy caverns of winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. And the image for the save file where you'd see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game? For crying out loud! That's when I realized that this wasn't a glitchy game, it was a hacked game. Yet, definitely hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself it was a hacked game, and there's nothing wrong with it. Anyways, shaking off that creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails when I selected and got started. The game froze for about 5 seconds. I'd heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded awful like Cavella guy for Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded and a new level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any classic Sonic games. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level. There was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to slow down into slow, deep tones, very slowly as I kept going. I suddenly saw something, and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals, lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before, so I had him move along. He kept that worried face on him, like he was trying to tell me something. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried. As the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals, I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanged on a tree, with appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs cut off and torn off, and a dog had eyes got off and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw the massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed, after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen, with his back against Tails, with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile flattered, obviously noting that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make it move, so he had to be a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get to his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger, as something bad was going to happen. I heard a faint static growing louder as Tails was inches away from Sonic, and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That forbidden feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black, with the red glowing dots, just like the title image, though there wasn't a smile when it happened. The screen turned black, and the static was off. It stayed black for 7 minutes, and then white text appeared forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue the game, but my curiosity got the better of me, and I was taken to a different level, with level titling now saying, "Hide and Seek." This time, I was at Angel Island level for Sonic 3. It looked like everything else was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails wasn't actually breaking the fourth wall, Tails was trying to break the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow keys as hard as I could. I could make him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy thing when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard a creepy laugh again, that awful Kefla laugh. Right after 10 seconds had passed, I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with the black eyes. Black and red eyes. The music changed to a suspenseful grounding jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying! He's flying! Holy shit! The flying pose his sprite was making looked similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic, and he had black and red eyes again. Only burger. Wait. Only. This time, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving to his poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, Tails tripped. Another cutscene. The music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there, started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kinda teared up myself. But then, Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down from the blackened eyes of Sonic as a grin slowly grew from his face. As he looked down at the horrified fox, I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud, screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow, wanna try again," and then that god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what has happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails were supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but was in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur has gone black, and the expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black, and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time, the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of sick, twisted joke, or anything really. Despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The level looked much different and had the ground of the scrap brains though, but the sky at the background, and it looked like the main menu, and a dark, reddish, cloudy sky, but the music that creeped me out the most, it sounded like Gygas theme right after you beat the Pokey in Earthbound. Sonic and Earthbound, what's going on? I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails and looked as if he wasn't sure what was going on, but I made him move anyways. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level. As he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple of times. Then that maddening laugh came again. Then, after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated, walking down this blood-stained road, but I kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him, with those black and red eyes, and the red static appeared again. When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen, with text saying, "Found you." Some of the words are big, some of the words are small. I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, red static came again. Then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing the Silent Hill's first final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't. Honestly, suddenly, Sonic appeared right before Knuckles in what appeared to be a pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared to be behind Knuckles again. Then I made him punch again, and Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and I even felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. You don't play the game plays you, huh? Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then, in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Yeah, I'm starting to love this timer. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree? What the hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was so scared to think about that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time, the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His head fur had darkened to a reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those were actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So, I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap. I wish I hadn't, 'cause I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung up high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us," and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too." The cries died out as I heard Sonic laugh. His laugh sounded like a distorted Keflet laugh. "Damn you, Keflet laugh, damn you. You're a lot of fun to play with, kid, just like your friend Kiel," though he didn't last long. I was scared, looking around for the source of the voice. We won't be long until you join him and all my other friends. I saw him walking toward me, flickering out in several directions. "You can't run now, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others." When he grabbed me, and I saw his bleeding, black and red-eyed, grinning face, I woke up with a fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyways, the level title appeared, and this time it said, which I found really freaky, dot. God, the suspense. This time, I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was some from some kind of classic Sonic game, though it was the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candlelights, and a few dark bloodstains were here and there, and there was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. Still loving this timer. The music was oddly pleasant. A piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was a song played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails or Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he's a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right at least twice, and he shrugs at me as if he has no idea where he was or what he was going on, even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen. I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation. You know, when you beat him at the end of the classic Sonic game and you chase him as we continued through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself. So I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto the other hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. Then we headed down for another flight of stairs. Down. This one was much longer. It took at least 1 full minute. Then I heard that horrid Kefla laugh again, and then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed on the third hallways, I noticed something really creepy. Though he tried to hide it, I couldn't blame it. I was scared too. Then I heard that horrid Kefka laugh again. Then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the halls turned more dark red, and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed on the third hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did Knuckles, and then the red static lasted about 15 seconds. 15 seconds, sounds legit. And then it showed me a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness. We could only see his face, and his head and torso faded to black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean he looked so real you could actually see the lines in his fur. It's Sonic Boom! No, wait. As if you could really feel the fur if you touched the screen. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you could only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realist, oh fuck man, his face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I'd ever seen, and that was something. Considering I saw the image at the start of the game, his eyes were wide and black, once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic, and there were 2 small glowing red dots and black eyes staring right at me as if into my own mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the side of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs, very sharp fangs, much like werehog's teeth, except more fishish looking, somewhat yellow-ish, and from the back look of it, he had stains of blood and bits of flesh on his lips, and the fangs, as if he ate some animal. I stare at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds. I'm loving this timer. Why did you look at it for 30 seconds? Never taking my eyes off of it, I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, the perfect face. It took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered. Static again. 3 times. On the 3rd time, I heard Kefla laugh. Damn it, Kefla. Except this time, it sounded distorted. Demonic, even. 66666. It went back to the image again, except this time, there was text again, though it was messed up. But pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked at since I had this game. I am God. You don't need God, you need Jesus. It was when I read this little message while looking at Sonic. When it hit me, I realized right there, right then, Sonic was a monster, a pure, sadistic, all-power, nightmarish, demented monster, and all of its victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and maybe possibly Kyle, but screw that you, are just his little toys, and this game is his very gateway into a chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell this victims is trapped in. The non-existing victims. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literary spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? Okay, this mess is almost over. The Kefka laughed, now sounding more clear if his Sonic was right behind me. Played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time the 3rd save file had an image of Robotnik in the same formatted state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a full dull gray. His mustache drooped and had blackened. His glasses had broken. Blood was coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik and cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they were going through. They were forever trapped within the game. These poor fictional characters, forever tormented by that horrible hedgehog, and will always be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for about 25 seconds. Man, I love this timer. Horrified by what just happened. Sonic is very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who's played this game in more ways than one. And then, when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie smiling with blood stains under his eyes. Too spooky for me. Okay, what did I think about that? That was really awful. But funny as hell, though. I know his tent is supposed to be scary, but God, it failed at trying to be scary. And I just came out having a good laugh. Oh shit. the comment sections. They're pissed. What am I gonna do? I don't really honestly care. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And there will be another one. There will be another one. I know that for a fact. See you next time. Ooh, this is too spooky.